By 2026, global currency markets have reached a state of near total accessibility. With a mobile device, any resident can view live, institutional-grade data streams and tap into a system that moves trillions of dollars every single day. In Bangladesh, a massive digitally native population is eager to tap into these international markets. Millions of aspiring traders view Forex as a highly accessible path to generating new wealth. But that modern digital ambition crashes headfirst into a very old legal wall. Capital control in Bangladesh is governed by the Foreign Exchange Regulation Act of 1947. This legislation was built to strictly contain the outflow of the nation's foreign currency reserves, decades before online retail trading even existed. The country's central authority, the Bangladesh Bank, actively enforces this strict legal mandate. They explicitly prohibit individuals from sending money abroad to fund speculative retail trading accounts. If you try to bypass this historical barrier to reach modern global markets, you are operating completely outside the local financial framework. You immediately place your capital and your legal standing in severe jeopardy. The friction begins at the very first step, funding your account. If you try to send a direct wire transfer or use a local credit card to deposit funds with an offshore broker, the transaction is automatically flagged as an unauthorized overseas remittance and blocked by your local bank. This forces traders into secondary channels. Some tried using third-party e-wallets like Skrill or Neteller to mask the destination of their money. However, using these platforms for unauthorized Forex trading violates both local law and the platform's own terms of service. Your account can be frozen without warning. Others attempt using peer-to-peer cryptocurrency networks to smuggle capital out. Transactions rely on informal agents mixing your capital with anonymous cash. Without verifying the destination, you become an unknowing link in a shadow system, moving money without a paper trail. Even if the transfer succeeds, converting your local currency into highly volatile crypto assets, just to use it as a bridge to fund a fiat Forex account, introduces a massive, unnecessary layer of market risk before you ever look at a currency chart. Relying on these workarounds creates an immediate failure state. Bypassing the central bank's oversight removes every standard safeguard, leaving your capital vulnerable to total loss before a single trade is ever placed. Arriving at an unregulated offshore broker, your capital enters a financial void. There is no authority monitoring what that platform does with your money. Unregulated brokers specifically target users from countries with restrictive capital controls. They deploy aggressive predatory tactics, manipulating price feeds to deliberately trigger your stop losses, or locking your initial deposits behind impossible bonus trading volume requirements. The most common tactic is the withdrawal block. When you try to cash out your profits, the broker simply refuses to process the request, trapping you in an endless loop of uploading identity documents until you give up. Traders often argue that this can be avoided by using a heavily regulated international broker, like one overseen by the FCA in the United Kingdom. Top-tier authorities protect their citizens. This regulatory shield does not extend to a Bangladeshi resident violating capital control laws. Because your funding transaction was illegal, you have absolutely zero recourse in your local court system to recover stolen funds. Crossing the digital border without authorization removes you from the protection of the Bangladeshi justice system. Without a legally sanctioned transaction, you have no standing to file a claim, leaving your capital entirely at the mercy of the offshore entity. Let's assume you manage to navigate the shadow payment networks, survive the offshore brokers, and actually generate a trading profit. The final hurdle is repatriating that money back into your Bangladeshi bank account. Inbound wires from known offshore trading platforms trigger immediate scrutiny. The National Board of Revenue classifies these hidden offshore earnings as taxable income, and actively concealing them exposes you directly to prosecution for tax evasion. Under the strictly enforced Foreign Exchange Regulation Act, unauthorized foreign exchange dealings carry escalating penalties. Authorities can execute confiscation of funds, levy hefty financial fines, and in severe cases, pursue imprisonment. This creates an unavoidable trap. Even if you execute a flawless, highly profitable trading strategy, the very act of successfully returning your profits triggers local legal prosecution. You face a failure state either way. Direct individual retail Forex trading from Bangladesh right now is a fight against domestic law and offshore predators, a fight the retail trader simply cannot win. You should immediately stop risking your capital on shadowy payment networks and illegal workarounds. Every step of this process, from unauthorized remittances to unregulated offshore withdrawal loops, is designed to separate you from your capital. Instead, direct that energy toward building institutional-grade financial knowledge. Learn to read macroeconomic data, study global market dynamics, and master the strict risk management principles that professional institutions use. Betting your capital on a fragile legal loophole is a guaranteed trap. Dedicating time to legitimate market education ensures that when the regulatory landscape evolves, you will be fully prepared to navigate the global financial system safely.